Record. Okay, recording. Cool.
Recording. Yay.
What's the first question, Andrew? And who's it by?
Why are you so fucking dumb, Andrew? From Delaware.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot to that.
That's a very complex question. Okay, so we should probably do like a slight intro of what we're doing.
Okay.
This is a Q&A. Andrew is helping us with the camera work, and he's gonna pick the questions. And if you know who Andrew is, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So what we're doing now is we're just hanging out, and I've asked Instagram a bunch of questions. There's gonna be a lot of questions, and we're just gonna go through and try our best. Okay.
What materials do you want to try, blades and or
What materials do I want to try, blades and or handles?
handles?
I do want to start getting more into Damascus, pattern welding and that kind of stuff, so that'll be something I'm going to be picking up probably sometime later this year and then next year. And there's a collaboration coming up with a friend, Emiliano. He makes his own steel a lot, and we've been talking a bit about doing a project of that sort, working with like steel that he smelts. So that's something that I really am looking forward to. It's gonna be interesting for sure. I think that'd be really cool if like we could get him here, or I'll travel to his place and then we'll work on that together. So a lot of steel stuff. As far as handle materials go, I want to keep in mind of like sustainability as far as like what woods we're using, where we're getting it from, and then meteorite would be cool, and mammoth ivory.
Maximilian66 says, Don, how did you choose your distinguished design that is clean, sexy, and most practical?
Oh, how did I choose my design that is clean, sexy, and most practical?
All right, calm down there, kid. He can say it, not you.
Oh man, I came upon that design pretty early on, to be honest. It started off.
I was smart from the beginning.
Okay, I'll stop bragging. It started off as, you know, like a Japanese-inspired blade, and I liked the octagonal-shaped handles, but I didn't like how a lot of them were really bulky. I like tapers, so like tapering from the front to the rear is really nice. And I was probably really bad, so my octagon ended up as a hexagon. So if you taper a hexagon, you end up with that like distinguished triangular side profile. And then I just like this interface in the front to fit with the way your fingers wrap around the blade, and then a nice pointy angle. It looks nice. It's actually really comfortable despite what it looks. And I kind of stuck with that from then on.
What car is your spirit animal? Shelby Cobra is mine. I love big engines and small cars.
What car is my spirit animal? The Jag, right?
I
Wants-
mean,
wants
like
to be loud.
personality-wise,
Yeah. It wants to be loud. It doesn't work. It's just this rusted pile on the ground.
I think the legend is more your spirit animal.
You think so?
An air of sophistication
With a lot of complexities.
that don't really work that well together.
And it's loud but not fast.
Right, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
There
The
you
legend.
Alfred's son Knives wants to know more about Sam. Tell him that's
Oh, Sam,
I get to
tell us
brag.
about it.
I was an art student. No,
Whoa.
me and Don have known each other since high school. And then we went kind of separate ways in college, but stayed in touch. And me and him got back to hanging with each other because of Formula car racing club in college that he was a part of at the U of A. and I was going to a shitty art school. And I would bail on like nights of the week and go hang out with them in the shop. And then we graduated, and my degree took me nowhere. And then I ended up, just because I hated my job, like pipe dream working for you on Mondays.
Well, okay, I forget, how did you actually start like getting interested in what I do? Like, you started shadowing me on Mondays, and I'm like, well, how did that even happen?
Sheer desperation of like really hating my day
So,
job.
but from you shadowed me Mondays for quite a while,
Right, because that was one of my days off. I had Sundays and Mondays off.
but you had the intention to like hopefully work for me in the long run, right?
Right, but both of us at the time thought of it like, well, this will probably never happen, but it'll be fun to just kind of fuck around.
Yeah.
Gives us an excuse to hang out.
Yeah.
And then I quit my job unexpectedly because I was over it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is a long shot. Hey, Don, like, can I just sweep the floors or something? Can you give me a job? And he did. He took the risk, which is a huge risk at the time because I was very useless for a long time. But eventually, I think it started to work out more, right?
Yeah, it was an interesting moment because I actually decided to hire you like the day you asked me, and I told you like I'll get back to you later. And I think you had resigned to like trying to find another job because you were like, yeah, he's not hiring me.
Well, no, I had started looking for other jobs, and I was like, fuck it, I'll just ask Don. Like, what's the worst that can happen? He says
Right.
no. Like, you're like, who cares? But like, it would be infinitely better than like, I think at the time I was looking at like getting a job as a cab driver or something.
Oh dang.
It's just, yeah, it was rough. But you were like, fuck it, let's try it.
Yep.
Because I think you were making decent enough money at the time where you felt like you could float it.
It was a big risk. That was when I first went full time. So supply and demand was a little bit funky at the time because I started making more knives and the demand was at a certain level. So that was tough. And I was learning a lot because I had just gone full time, and I still consider myself a fairly new maker. And trying to teach you at the same time, trying to keep the finances going, trying to just make sure everything was working and make sure you don't kill yourself in the shop.
Yeah.
That was interesting. But we're here now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't know whether that's what they wanted to hear. I went to art school for animation. It didn't fucking work out, so then I worked for my friend.
Hey Don, why haven't you put a Honda motor in the Jag? Everyone's doing it.
Oh, god damn it. I'm not doing that.
Who's that from?
Julio.
Chef Julio Morales.
Yep.
Very quick question. How old are you?
I'm 40.
What's a good 2x72 you would recommend that's not too pricey?
I'm not up to... Yeah, I'm just not up to date with the modern 2x72s. I'm still using a piece of shit kit that I assembled. Like, it's a piece of shit because I assembled it, not the kit itself. It takes some work. Like, if you're on a budget, you can do those kits, but the problem is you're doing those kits because you're on a budget and you're probably new. So you don't know the nuances to make a grinder work really well.
For those who don't know what a 2x72 is.
It's a 2-inch wide belt, 72-inch length. It's basically a little belt sander, but like on steroids. And 2x72 is basically the standard that knife makers use because there's a good variety of belts you can get, good quality of belts, and it's just, since so many people use it, that's like the standard now.
What was the kit?
It's the grinder in a box by Polar Bear Forge. And like, it can work, but it takes some work to figure it out.
Was it like a good budget option?
Yeah, so like, I don't have variable speed. The kit itself, plus all the wheels, plus all the accessories to get it going, probably around $1,000, which is about half the price what you could pay for to get one like running out of the box.
Right.
There's some pretty good ones that I think are out there right now. Like AMK is a really good grinder company, and they make some really good stuff for reasonable price. If I was gonna get one, it'd be one of those. If I was gonna get like flagship model, it'd be a TW90 because Travis is awesome and he makes a banging good grinder. Fear is also a pretty good budget one that I hear people use a lot. I've used those a couple of times and they're pretty nice now.
Alex asks, can you show us the first knife you ever made?
No, I have it. It's right here.
Oh man. Oh. First knife Don has ever made.
All right, so this is my first knife I've ever made. October 2011. This was made out of a file, even though I tell people don't use files when you're starting. So don't do what I do. Do what I, you know. It doesn't cut worth shit. Like, I spent so many hours on this. This was supposed to be a chef's knife at first, and then it got shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter because I suck at making stuff. And then after all the time I spent like finishing and all that, I gave it to my dad to try. I was like, oh, like, check this out. Like, I made this knife. He cut some stuff. He's like, well, it doesn't cut that well. Like, this Kiwi knife cuts better. And the Kiwi knife is like a $3 knife you can get from an Asian grocery store. And I was heartbroken. And then ever since then, I started using it for experiments to like try to etch stuff. I kind of regret that, but whatever. It's like part of the charm. I like etched half a bird in my initials